Hello and welcome to all members from the Ray White Group attending this Unlocking the Vault Express webinar that we're hosting today. My name is Tamara Ortiz, and in the next 15 minutes, I'll be taking you through the VaultRE app, focusing on the contact section and looking at the caller ID piece and how that works, how automatic notes happen when you call out from the system. We'll do a quick adding a contact in, and we'll have a little look at the contact card and all of the areas that are accessible to you there. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and we will jump into the app and get going with today's session. Beautiful. So just jumping straight into the VaultRE app, you can see my dashboard available here. So I have all of the items. I've got my to-do list, my open homes, calendar, gross commission, and offer conditions available on the home page. But today we're really going to focus on the contact screen. So jumping over into the contact screen, we do have all of our contacts available here so that we can obviously do our searches and find anybody that we wish to within the system. Just jumping back to our dashboard very quickly, I did want to point out that you do have the availability up the top here using the search functionality to look for anybody within the platform. So as you can see, as I start typing, it is searching the database for anybody that matches what I am typing above. I'm going to do a very quick demonstration of how the caller ID works. So just bear with me a moment whilst I begin placing a call. So you can see that that's surfacing right now. It's saying VaultRE caller ID, and Chica Ortiz is the person within the database that it's picked up that relates back to that phone number. So as long as you follow the steps in setting up your caller ID, either on the iOS version or the Android version, a similar thing should happen to you anytime anybody that is a contact within your database now calls your phone. So you don't need to have every single buyer and seller's phone number saved as an individual contact in your phone anymore. VaultRE will actually recognize those callers for you in the fashion that you just saw. So I'm just going to quickly jump into a contact now, as we were doing before. So I'm going to use Marilyn Monroe today, just to give you a little look at what the contact card looks like. So at the top, we can see any categories that the person is attached to. We've obviously got, their contact name and their partner's name as well, if they have a partner. We've got the categories attached to them, and then we have our actual contact details available here as well. So you can use the specific data fields, or you can press this edit details button here to add in further details about this contact, like so. We do have the availability to make calls, SMSs and emails straight out of here using those little icons that we have available. Below that, we have all of the linked properties, so any properties that contact is linked with. So if I actually just press my show formal button there, you can see all of the properties that this contact is linked with and how they're actually linked with that person. So we've got a home address, a postal address, and then the different relationships with the other properties, whether they're an owner, landlord, purchaser, tenant, so on and so forth. We've got the buy rent requirement then sitting below that. So this person is currently looking for a residential house within Coorparoo. I can edit this requirement or add further requirements from here also. I then have any files that are attached to that contact available in here as well, and I can attach further files. And then finally at the bottom, I have my notes log available as well, so we can see all of the contacts that have happened with that person in the system. If I go back up to the very top, we do have our menu icon up the top. This just gives you a few more bits and pieces, mostly just wanting to show that you can actually share contacts out of Vault if you need to. So if you needed to pass this contact along to somebody, maybe it was you had the solicitor added as a contact in your VaultRE database and wanted to share that with a purchaser or a seller, you could do that using this functionality here. So a few little things that we wanted to have a quick look at from here is the ability to make phone calls out of the system and the automatic note log that happens with that. So whether we are in a contact like we are now and making a phone call, or we might actually be back on our dashboard screen and have a item come up in our to-do list, a task come up to remind us to call this person. So if I did have this, you can see this reminder sitting here in the middle of my screen to call Marilyn to discuss appraisal. I could actually click on that reminder, jump into view the contact, and from here place my call. So I'll press that little phone icon now, and you can see that we're being prompted to make the call to this person. So I would press that call button, call the person, and have my conversation. When I hang up, I'll then be thrown straight back into this screen and be prompted to place a note. So then what I could do is just simply press my add note button. And what I would do is actually use the button that's currently grayed out in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the microphone button, to dictate what my conversation with that person was. So I would press that button down and say, called Marilyn, spoke to her about the appraisal. She's happy to proceed. Please prepare listing documents and meet at the property again on Tuesday. As I say all that, that will obviously dictate into the note above. Now, I can't use that because I'm currently presenting the screen, but that's how I would encourage you to use it. Alternatively, you can just type in this area like you can see that I am doing now, and then make your note as such. From here, I can set further reminders to remind myself to do further actions around this note. If it was that I needed to call to set another appointment, or, Marilyn was busy and asked me to call her back next week, I could also set that reminder in here as well. And depending on your access permissions, you might also be able to actually assign that task to someone else within your team. Lastly, I can select what note type that was, depending on the note types that are set up for your system. I'll then press my save button, and you can see now that that note has been placed against Marilyn in the system. So that is how that piece works. Same thing goes for the SMSing or emailing button. So we have the little speech bubble, which means SMS, and then the little envelope, which is email. So if we press either of those buttons, I'll press the SMS one, we get the option to go straight into messaging that person. I will actually just show you what happens when we press the Open Vault Communicator button. So when we do this, we actually get the opportunity to use an SMS template or response that's already set up in the system. We can also attach this across to a property if we're wanting to pull property merge fields in as well. So if I have some SMSs set up in my system, I could select the one that I'm wanting to use here. And then I also have the option to choose whether I want to send this SMS through VaultRE or if I'm going to send it through my phone. Remembering that if we do send through VaultRE, there is a charge of 6.6 cents, that includes GST, per 160 characters. So just be aware of that. Obviously, if we toggle that off, then it will just be sent out through our regular phone. So if I hit my compose button now, you'll see this being sent across into my actual messages ready to be sent out there as well. So I'll just jump back. So the same thing applies with the email button. You do have the option to use the Open Vault Communicator there as well, and select an email response or an email template that you have got set up within the system also. So that is contacts. I'm just very quickly going to jump back over and show you how to add a new contact into the system now. Now, obviously, if you're meeting people at open homes, we'd be encouraging you to follow the open home check-in process. But if you just met somebody on the street or they walked into the office and you had your phone with you and you wanted to add them straight into the database, you can just jump over to the contact screen here, press the plus button up in the top corner and begin adding that person in. There's lots of different fields here that you can complete. So just work through these options as you go. And as you can see, as I begin to type, the duplicate checking process will happen for you. So I can click here to view my 2 possible duplicates. And if neither of these are the person that I'm adding into the system, I can proceed with adding the contact further like I am now. You can then add phone numbers, add email addresses, so on and so forth, and then save, and that will add the contact in for you. So that's all about contacts for the app for today. I will just quickly show you how to find support and assistance from within the app in case you run into any issues. So jumping back to our dashboard and clicking on our little settings cog up in the corner, you do find at the bottom of the screen a blue contact support button here. So this is really great if you are experiencing any technical issues within the app. We would encourage you to take screenshots of any error messages or when things are actually glitching or going wrong. This is definitely the option to use to be able to report that to support, because it actually puts a script behind it to show what's happening in the app whilst you're using. However, I would say that if it is that you're just not sure how to do something within the app, or not sure where to find something, that's definitely a question that should be forwarded to your local digital BDE. So I would encourage you to use this support, contact support function for any technical issues, but do remember that if you're having more of a training requirement or how do I do something, please get in contact with your local digital BDE. Just going to stop broadcasting here and just remind you of a few other items that I wanted to touch on today in regards to support. So just remembering that you can also go to Whiteboard, and we do have the option on Whiteboard for you to access more information. We're doing lots more sessions like these express 15-minute session that you've just joined today. So do join the others of those. Hopefully you've got a little bit of information out of today's session. Thank you so much for joining me. And if there is anything further that you need assistance with, please do not hesitate to reach out to your local digital BDE. Thank you and have a wonderful day.